Hello. Welcome to the second lecture of automata theory. In first lecture we had covered a general discussion about the subject and its scope. In this lecture we are going to discuss about the formal model of finite automata. We are not going into the details of the formal definitions of the finite automata, but a formal model will be discussed along with some example and its applications and limitations. So this is the syllabus for the subject that is divided into 4 units. In first unit we will be having finite automata, its different models and regular expressions. In second unit we will be having the pumping lemma applications, context-free languages and other grammar rules and formal languages. In third unit we will be covering about the Mealy-Murray machines and push-down automata. In fourth unit, we have Turing machines and some theoretical topics and decidability problems and theorems. So we will be covering all of these topics one by one in the further lectures. So here is the network login process model that we also covered in the previous lecture. We are discussing it just for the revision of the concept of states and input. As we had discussed, we are at initial state until we enter the password, and as we enter the password we move to the next state, and if the password is correct we are moving to third state, that is inbox state. Otherwise we are moving back to the wait state or enter password or initial state. So these models are divided into different states at during different phases of machine, and these states are depends on the present input, how we are moving. Suppose at the password check state we will be at the second state, password check state, only then if we have entered the password, and we will be in inbox state only then if the password was correct. So these states means at the present situation depend on the previous input. Okay, so this is the basic concept of any machine or any process that we are going to cover in this lecture. So coming to the formal model of finite automata, it comprises of three things, that is the input tape with limited memory, second is read only head, and a finite control. So what is input tape? As marked in the slide, the input tape is divided into different cells and each cell can have only one input symbol. So why we are saying that it's a limited memory? Because we cannot store unlimited data in the input tape, as the tape is also marked with the end markers. These are not actually the markers, or there is no such symbols stored in the input tape, but these are just for the reference. We have the limited memory. The leftmost and the rightmost cell is stored with some marker to indicate the left hand and the right hand of the input tape. Okay, so every machine, every abstract or mathematical model that we are covering with or designing with finite automata is going to have a input, is going to have an input like any machine. So these inputs will be of will be a combination of valid input symbols. Here in this example, I have filled the tape with a string of 01. That is you can see here. This is the input string 01001111. So this is the input string that we have on the tape, and we have to process the string through a through the read head, as the read head read one symbol from the input tape and moves ahead, and the finite control, uh, the last requirement of the finite automata is finite control. Finite control actually represent the states. Okay, being on a state, the reading head reads one input symbol from the input tape and moves to the next state, and on the next state it will be reading the next symbol. So this is the process. So this is the entire process. It can be like this. As in this example, we have input tape, not of 0 1 but of AB. Input can be of any form, but it should be a valid form. Means, for example, for an ATM machine, if we have to withdraw the money, then we have to, when we are required to enter the digits like 1,000, 10,000, like this, but we are not supposed to enter the characters. So input should be a valid combination of valid input symbols so that it can be processed by the machine. So in this tape we are having BAA as the input string for the machine, and the reading head that reads the symbol from the tape is marked with an curved arrow. Next, the finite control is shown in the form of the states. These Q0, Q1, and Q2 and Qn are the states. As we are talking about the finite automata, the number of states will always be finite in any machine. So these Q0, Q1, Q2 up to Qn are finite number of n states. So we generally mark the state names as Q0, Q1, Q2 just to indicate a count, that we have the first state as Q0, next state as Q1, third state as Q2. So these are just the marker. We can use any notation for naming the state. There is no hard and fast rule, but generally books or reference books uses this standard notation like Q0, Q1, Q2. So you can follow any of the name or any notation as you like. Next, we have the notations for transition diagram. Whenever we are going to draw a transition diagram means a state diagram having the transitions for each input. So these transition diagrams has certain rules and notations. For example, to represent any state we will be using this sphere or figure circular figure with the state name. The state should be finite in number for any machine. Next notation is for the initial state, that is the start state. That is a simple state with an incoming arrow. One machine can have only one initial state. Next is the final state that shows acceptance, means for any machine, if after reading on the input completely, means if we are reading the last symbol of the input string and we are at the final state, that means the string is accepted by the finite automata or the machine, and the final states are marked with a circle double circuits. There can be more than one final states in a machine. Next is dead state or trap state. Dead state or states are like the states from where we cannot ever move to the final state. Mean the string cannot be ever accepted by the machine once we reach to the final dead state or trap state. This clearly shows the rejection of the input string. Okay, once we reached any of the non-final state, if the input is n and we are at any of the non-final state, or we reached any of the dead state, the string can never be accepted. The string is rejected by the machine. So we can represent the dead state in the using state name as capital D or the phi symbol or any other name. Okay, just for the sake of convenience, we generally mark the dead state with a phi symbol. to represent it's a dead state, and the no transition is going from the dead state to any other state or final state. Last notation use will be the transitions. Transitions are shown in any machine using the unidirectional arrows, and each transition represent one input symbol. Means each transition carries one input symbol from one state to another state, and number of transition in a machine will depends upon the number of input symbols for that machine. Okay, so dead state, taking details of the dead state representation, can also be represented with a simple circle with any of the state name notation, or with a fire symbol, or with a capital D symbol, or we can also represent the dead state as the self loop for all the input symbols. Means as we already discussed, there will be no outgoing from the dead state to any other state. That means we are having the self loop to the dead state for all the inputs. Means no transitions from dead state are going to any other state, but to itself are possible. Or we can also represent a single loop with all the input symbols tagged with a single transition. This if we are marking multiple input symbols with one transition, that doesn't mean that the transition can carry two input symbols. It's just a notation, but at a time we are taking one transition is taking one symbol only. Means if we have marked two input symbols here over with this transitions, still at a time we will be having 0 or 1. Next time we can have 0, next time we can have 1. So at a time one transition can represent only one input symbol. This concept will be clear to you when we will discuss the examples for these notations. Let's take a simple example of an electronic bulb with simple on and off functionality. Here this machine is going to have only two states, one is on and one is off, and depending on the input, machine can be in any of the state at a particular time. So we off is the initial state that is marked with an incoming arrow, and on is the another state of the machine. The machine moves from off state to on state whenever the input is provided or the button is pressed. From on state, if the input is provided or button is pressed, we are moving back to the off state, and this process goes on until we are providing any input to a particular state. So from off state with input button pressed, the next state is on. From on state with input button pressed, the next state is off, and so on. We have not taken the final state and the trap state for the sake of simplicity, and the concept of final state and trap state will be clear from the next example we have taken in the next slide. Here we just want to clear the concept that the machine will respond, and the present state of the machine is depends on the present input and the previous state. So these are the basic functionality, how the machine changes from one state to another state depending on the present input. So taking an example of transition diagram for an identifier name, as we all have practiced the C language or any other language, programming language, we always have certain rules for a valid variable name. So it must comprises of characters, characters like capital A to Z, lowercase a to Z, or digits, and underscore. Here we have defined some variable names like int a, sum. Here a is a variable name with length 1, sum is a variable name with length 3, character name 1. Name 1 is a valid variable name with length 4. Next we have integer 2a. This is not a valid variable name as it starts with a digit. So compiler should reject it as it is not according to the identifier names. So for compiler to reject this variable name, it must identify that the first character is not a alphanumeric alphabet or underscore, so it's a digit. So it should not there should not be any transition from initial state to the final state. So constructing the transition diagram starting with initial state, here we have q naught marked with an incoming arrow. To reach the final state qf, we need at least one character or underscore symbol, because for a name to be a valid variable name there must be at least one character or underscore symbol. So for first input, the valid input set is defined here as capital A to Z, lowercase a to Z, and underscore. Like here we have this input symbol a. This variable name a is a valid variable name because from q naught, after reading a from this input set, we are moving to the final state qf. So once we reach the final state, the variable name is accepted by the compiler. But for all the variable names of length 1, this transition diagram is enough. But what if we have the variable name of length greater than 1? Then we have to define transitions for other symbols as well. But as we have not defined any length constraint for the identifier name in this example, so we have to uh, accept all the names. So for the acceptance of other names, we cannot define infinite number of undefined number of final states. We have another shortcut solution, like we can have the self loop itself for the final state for other valid symbols. For the symbols from second position onwards, they all when the machine should remain at the final state itself. For the capital A to Z, lowercase a to Z, for any number of underscore received from the second symbol onwards, and the digit symbols received from the second position onwards, because the digit is not allowed as the initial symbol of variable name. After that, whatever be the valid input, those or for all those input, the machine will remain at the final state. But what if we have the digit at the initial as the initial symbol? It must be redirected to the trap state, means the variable name cannot be accepted or cannot reach to the final state if the variable name's first symbol is a digit. So we have marked here the rejection with the dead state or trap state. After reading the input, if the state is final state for any string, the string is accepted. If the state is any non-final state or a dead state, that means the string is clear cut rejected. For example, for the variable name sum, from q naught, after reading the s, we have a transition to qf. From qf, after reading the input symbol u, we have a transition to qf from this set of inputs. Okay, from then after reading m, again we have the same transition from one of the input symbol m from this set. And once the string is complete, sum, we have read all the symbols, the state is final state. That indicates that this is a valid variable name and the string is accepted. Same will be the case with name. For name, we will be moving from initial state to final state after reading n from this set. Then A, one transition for A, another transition for M, another transition for 1 will take place from this transition. After 1, there is no more input symbol. That means we are at final state and the name 1 is accepted as a valid variable name. But for 2A, after reading the 2 from initial state Q0, we are moving to the dead state or trap state, and once we reach the trap state we cannot move to any other state. We will be at the same state or trap state for forever until the input ends. We could draw the self loops for each and every input here, but it's not required. For the sake of simplicity, we can skip the dead state, or if we are drawing, we have no need to draw the self loop for each input. This transition diagram, can be simplified as, the only difference is that we have not marked this much of self loop. We just mark one self loop with all the valid input symbols that are required, depends on the machine functionality. So we can have at a time only one symbol out of this valid input set, not all the symbols at a time. So one transition can carry only one input symbol at a time. For example, for some S, S will be read from the Q0 to QF. After that U, one transition for U, next third transition for M. Okay, so this can be more simplified as by writing the defines for the input set as letters and digit. Here we have written the letters for this set, capital A to Z, lowercase a to Z, and the digit for 0 to 9 set. So this is the simplified version of the same diagram. For the sake of understanding and simplicity, we have not marked the dead states, but it's up to you. If you feel, you can mark the dead state. Our last example was for the identifier name of undefined length. Means variable length can be of any variable can be of any length. So for that purpose, we defined the self loops for all valid symbols at the final state for acceptance of all the symbols from second position onwards. But uh, if we have the constraint on the length of the input symbols, then we have to use a different approach. We cannot go with the self loops because self loops can accept any number of characters. But if we have the constraint on length, then we have to define dedicated transition for each character and dedicated states for to carry each transition from one state to another state. For example, if we have constraint on the length as maximum length can be of 4 characters, then we need at least 4 transitions that takes the input from initial state to the final state. And for taking 4 transition, we need at least 5 states for carrying the 4 transitions. So possible strings, the rules are same as we had in the last slide for the variable names. The valid strings are, for example, sum underscore s1, ss3, a underscore 1b, and these are the set of or the instances of some invalid strings, valid name variable name strings. Next, possible inputs for the machine can be letters. We are using defines for set of input symbols, so letters underscore digits, and the output responses can be acceptance or rejection. Uh, if the string ends at a final state, the string is accepted. Otherwise, if the string ends at any of the non-final state or the trap state, the string is rejected. So starting from the initial state, that is Q note marked with an incoming arrow, For a variable name, we need, as we have already discussed, we need at least one character or underscore to carry from initial state to the next state. So, and we cannot have digit as the we cannot have digit as the initial symbol. If we receive the digit, it must be there must be a transition from initial state for digit to the trap state, means that string should be rejected if it start with a digit. Then for the first character, the candidates are letter and underscore only. For the second character, the candidates of input symbols are letter, underscore and digits. For the third symbol, the possible input can be letter, digit or underscore. And same way for the fourth symbol, the possible input can be letters, underscore, digits. And here we should mark the fifth state, or the state after the fourth transition, as a final state or acceptance state. Here we have the Q4 as a final state. So taking the example of a valid variable name, for example this a underscore 1b, if we receive a here, then after reading a from Q0, we we are moving to Q1, and after reading underscore from Q1 to Q2, for the second symbol we are reaching to the state Q2, and after reading 1 from Q2 we are reaching to the state Q3, and after reading the fourth input symbol, that is B, we reach the state Q4, that is our final state. And if once we reach the final state and the input is end, the string is accepted. But what if we have the string of length less than 4? Okay, like here we have a string sum. So after reading s from the initial state, we are uh, we are reaching to the state Q1. From Q1 we will be moving to Q2 after reading the symbol, next input symbol, that is U. From Q2 after reading the third input symbol, that is M, we are at state Q3. Now as we have constraint of maximum length as 4, we should accept the variable name of length 3, of length 2 and of length 1. Okay, for those conditions to be true, we need to mark the state Q3 as the final state, and to accept the variable length of less than 3 or variable length of 2, we should mark Q2 also as a final state. For accepting the variable name of length 1, we are required to mark Q1 as a final state. And if we receive any of the letter, digit or underscore or any other character after the length 4 from the final state Q4, it must goes to the trap state. Okay, because if the variable length is 5 or greater than 4, any number greater than 4, then it should be rejected. So in this transition diagram, we have one initial state Q0. Every machine has only one initial state, but we are having 4 final states. Means after reading the input from the initial state, if we end at any of the final state, like if we end at Q1, if we end at Q2, if we end at Q3, or if we end at Q4, the string is in acceptance stage. Or if we end at Q0, or if we end at trap state, the string is rejected. So finally coming to the applications of finite automata. So finite automata is useful for or used in the designing of lexical analyzer of compiler. Here the lexical analyzer is a phase of one of the phase of compiler that requires automata, finite automata to recognize the tokens. Tokens, we can say that tokens are the keywords or variable name, as we just discussed in the previous example. So this was the functionality of lexical analyzer to define the, suppose I have taken integer a, then a compiler need to define integer as a keyword, as a variable name. So these divisions or distinctions of keywords or variable names or operators is done by compiler during the lexical analyzer phase, and these different distinct tokens are further taken to the next phase of the compiler for processing. Next application can be the text editors and spell checkers. Text editors are the example of these text editors, spell checkers, and lexical analyzer. We are going to discuss in the next slide. And for the recognition of patterns using regular expression, as we have already seen, the automata is used for the recognition purpose. If the string is according to the rules, according to the required input symbol, the string is accepted, otherwise rejected. So if we define these rules in the form of an expression, those expressions are known as regular expressions. That will be covered later. And for the designing of reactive combinational sequential circuits, for example control circuits of computer network communication protocols, etc. So how now let's see how finite automata can help lexical analyzer phase of compiler for the detection of different tokens in the program. We have already discussed the transition diagram for identifier detection. So the same will work with the lexical analyzer phase as well. From the initial state, we need to receive at least one letter or underscore symbol to reach the final state. And once we are at final state, we can receive any number of letter, digits, or underscore for a valid identifier name token. And once we get the delimiter, like space, comma, semicolon, that indicates the end of input, the complete characters received till now are indicated or marked as one token or one identifier name. Same way, we can have the transition diagram for different integer constant detection, character constant detection, and the float constant detections. Here we have shown the transition diagram for integer constants. So starting from the initial state, for an integer constant, we need at least one digit to move from initial state to the final state. Means for any constant to be declared as an integer constant, we need at least one digit. It must comprises of one digit. So after that, any number of digits received will become the part of the same integer constant until we get any delimiter like space, semicolon, colon, comma, etc. Same way, we can identify different keywords by marking the transition for different characters from the initial state. For example, if we receive I followed by F, then the the keyword detected is if, as we are ending at the final state, the keyword is detected as if. Same way, from initial state, if we are getting T, not I, then we are moving to this path. And if T is followed by H, then E, and then N, then the keyword detected is then. For E, from initial state we are moving to this state, and if E is followed by N, then this path is followed. If E has a next symbol as L, then this path is followed. And if this path is followed, the keyword detected is, or token keyword detected as end, and for this path the token is detected as else. Same way we can have the transition diagram for different relational operator symbols, like starting from the initial state, we reach 1 after receiving the less than sign, and if less than is followed by equal to, then it's less than equal to symbol. If less than symbol is followed by greater than symbol, then it's the not equal to relational operator, or this is for other. Means if we have not any other operator followed by the less than symbol, then the symbol is detected as simply less than operator. Same way equal to itself is a operator, then we detect it as equal to operator. If equal to is followed by next equal to, then it's the equality operator. Next, we if we have greater than followed by equal to, greater than equal to, greater than symbol followed by any other symbol is simply the greater than symbol. So these are the phases or simple working of compiler, how the compiler detect different tokens, and these token goes as input to the next level or next stage of the compiler processing. Text editors and spell checkers are another examples of finite automata. Like lexical analyzer, they also need to perform the identification and detection of different words, like tokens in lexical analyzer phase of compiler. So here we have taken a simple example of transition diagram for detecting and identifying only 4 words: he, she, his and hers. In this case we have 3 words starting with H and 1 word is starting with S. So we have 2 paths from the initial state, one for H and one for S. And we have also marked the state with blue color and numbers depending on the basis of their sequence in the input given here. So he as a first word is accepted at the state 1 or identified at state 1, and hers as the fourth word in the sequence is identified at this state marked with the number 4. His is identified at this state 3, and she is finalized at state 2. So going into the detail, when we start with H, the first symbol from initial state, we come to this state, and from this state we have to look for another options. So further options are E and I. E For E we are moving to this path, for I we have to follow this path. If H is followed by I and then S, the word is finalized as his at this state. And if H is followed by E and then R and then S, the word is detected as hers. Okay. But if we have not H as the first symbol, then the path is changed and we are coming from initial state to this state by receiving the input S. And if S is followed by H and then the next symbol is E, the word is finalized or identified as 2. So this is the basic functionality of every spell checker and text editor that follow the same approach of finite automata. We also use these type of applications in our daily mobile applications, and where we have to type the messages and emails, etc. Suppose I have typed the word H, then the first word or first transition is of H from initial state to second state, and on the basis of this match, further we have whatever path we have, the application starts showing hint accordingly. Suppose I have typed H and the next paths available with the application are his, her, hello, he and hi, then it will show all the words and option, and the user can pick any one of the word from the hints given. If I have typed H and E, then Now match will be performed on the basis of two given transition, as first transition is of symbol H and next transition of is of symbol E. Either the word is E or hers, or we can have other paths as well. Suppose hello can also be an option. So the editor or the compile application starts showing hints accordingly on the basis of two matches. Now the options are her and hello. So these are the basic functionality of every text editor, as it perform the checks on the basis of each and every transition, each and every character. Basically, on the background, the programming is running with if different if conditions on each state, with and also with the character matching functions to match every character and to search the next path accordingly. So we are not going into those programming details. We are just covering the model, means how the finite automata is going to work, is going to perform detection and recognition of different words. Next is limitations of finite automata. As finite automata is the most restricted, abstract and simplest model of automatic machines, but still it has following limitations. First one is the memory and the or the input tape is limited and read only. We cannot write anything on the input tape or in the memory. Next is only string or pattern recognizing power is there, means we cannot do any computation with the simple finite automata models. Third limitation is head movement is restricted in one direction only. We can go from left to right or right to left. So if the input is stored on the input tape or memory, either we can move or read the input from left to right, or we can read the input from right to left. Next is no output writing capability. As we have already discussed this, we cannot write any output, we cannot generate any output, only acceptance or rejection of the string or pattern is there. And last, control instructions are found. Summarizing the today's lecture, that the finite automata responds acceptance or rejection on the basis of present input and present state. Only this output or this response is possible with the finite automata machine. Still, it has application in many fields where we have string and pattern recognition requirement, like in compilers, text editors, spell checkers, etc. The reference book that we already discussed in the last previous lecture, I have just put it for the reference. Those who have not seen the last lecture can refer these books for the subject. And next lecture is going to cover the types of finite automata. All the types would be based on the formal model that we have discussed in this lecture, but yes, there are variation on the finite automata machines that we will be covering in the next lecture. Next, formal definition for these types, comparison, functionality comparison for these different types, and examples for each, for the practice sessions and for the better understanding. So bye for now, see you in the next lecture.